Welcome back to our quiet little corner of central Portugal, where the first signs of spring weather are here at last. As we have worked through our jobs, a few things have slipped down the priority list and have been pushed back to our next visit. The biggest of these is the relocation of the solar panels. There's a lot of work and expense there, and the gains are marginal compared with other things like tree pruning, which is much more tied to the seasons. Also, when we think it through, there are an awful lot of them to cut. The nice thing is that after pruning, we can put the chippings to good use, tidying up the garden areas. The arrival of the car has pushed the driveway up the list. And we still want to make some other parts a bit smarter before we come back to sleep here in the warmer weather. With those 3 priority tasks, we did a quick mental project plan to work out sequencing, and got the tape measure out to prepare the courtyard to receive the wood chippings. And actually, hang on a bit first here. Where's that? What's that width there?
So that's 390, so you'll get two rolls to go down there.
2 rolls, okay. 2 7. Well, but the ends won't need to be 7 metres, because
No,
that first
so
one, they will only need to be...
to about there. And that is, call it 5 metres.
So 1 at 7, 1 at 5, and then we'll work on it from there.
Yeah.
Oh, 7 and a bit. So we're going to be approximate anyway.
Okay.
With overlap.
Yeah.
Okay, and get that cut. Okay.
Yeah. You walk away and I'll arrange it accordingly. So I'm presuming you want to sort of...
Yeah, I want to sort of split up the edge.
Yeah, like that. How's that?
Sort of 6 inches or so at the edge.
Okay.
Right, next one.
We've got a corner here.
Looks like you're
Here's the corner, right, got it. So about what, 300 mil? Over that?
You pull yours a bit back that way because I've got quite a lot here. Don't need quite that much here.
Well, you cut it.
Yeah, you take it all to that end, then I've got the biggest lump at that end. Need a triangle here. Nice little cut out bits. Back inside the old storeroom, Phil's taken down the rest of the ceiling boards. But it's still very dusty, so with mask on, it's time for yet another sweep up to give us a clear workspace. Oh, and there were dozens of nails left in the ceiling joists. And the wild boar are back. This area seems to be their favourite spot, which I guess is okay. It's right over on the boundary and quite away from the house. You may have seen these OSB sheets before. We've had them for ages. We bought a batch for the kitchen and utility roofing. These few sheets were left over from the original work and saw service as a temporary roof sheets for the outdoor kitchen last autumn. We're not too worried about the surface finish in this room as long as it's functional. And I'm sure these will have yet another life when the building gets taken down for the main rebuild. It's all part of our plan here to use and reuse what we have wherever possible.
Yeah, so I've just got to cut off the bit for the lacquer square. So I've got to cut on this bit. It's overhanging the bottom, so it's clamped. If you can just give it a bit of support, that would help. There we go. So now, if we take this in and just lay it up against that wall, I can see where I need to cut the notch out for that bit. Yeah? And then let's go across the rest of the width. Okay, that's the top end. This bit goes to there. I've put some pilot screws in there. Now, I've marked on the walls where the rafters are there. So those are now in place.
You might need to move that ladder a bit further back so that we can be able to tip this up.
I'm just going to go from there. Let's see how we get on. So. Yeah.
I was trying to get this end up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, knit.
If you pick it up flat, like that, that's it.
I was hoping to do this on the floor first. Put this down on your end on the floor and this against the wall.
Can we get it up onto the top of that bit of wood? Up there like that.
That, yes, on top of it. I'm going to hold this end. I'm holding this end. The ladder.
Hang on, I'm going to get the ladder underneath. There. Right. Now.
Let's get that top right hand corner in. The ladder, you could get that top right hand corner in. Right, 2 inches to go.
Right. I need another plank to take that up. There we go. Yeah, it needs to go onto a block.
And get outside and up the ladder.
Up the ladder.
can you hold? No, just steady for a minute while I get up the next step. You understand? Right.
That'll do. A few more intermediate screws just to finish it off, but that's a lot clearer and neater than it was. And dust down with the brush, Jane can get on and paint. That'll be alright, this room. So fresh off a work call, and very enjoyable it was too. But whilst I've been in there doing all that stuff, Jane has been left to her own devices, playing with the landscaping and the layout. So I thought it best to go down and have a little look and see what she's achieved. And as ever, left to her own devices, she's gone above and beyond. Look at this stuff. So she's setting me up for a lot of chipping to be able to cover this stuff over, but the weed fabric has gone on nicely. Now we've got all the area outside the outdoor kitchen. So coming down from the tiny house, we've got the fire pit still there. We're going to have to book a fire. That's all the stuff that was left over from the rip down of the secret room, the storeroom ceiling. That's going to have to go sometime soon. But then around that, we've got all this area now beautifully cleared away. Jane's been digging it up for the last few days. And we've got the weed fabric down. So obviously next step is to do the chipping so we can cover it over. I've got to get a bit of gravel down. I'm going to put a little bit of gravel along the front face of the bathroom, so that where the drainage comes out from the wet room shower floor, it soaks away into the land just below the bathroom here. But I'll put some gravel on that so that it goes away nicer.
I'm tired, Janie. It's been a busy day.
Very, very productive.
Yeah, I'm really chuffed that we've got this far with it. Yeah, I need to do some, get the chainsaw out and chop a few trees down and make some more wood chip.
It shall be done. So last but not least, we'll go into the storeroom, secret room, which will now be a bedroom. So Jane will, when we get some rainy days, we've now got an indoor job that can be done. So we'll get on to setting this out. We've used OSB as a readily available material. This is probably on its third different usage. So it's available and inexpensive. So it probably needs a few more screws in some of the rafters just to give it a a double security.
Particularly that corner that's not stuck up properly.
The corner that's not stuck up properly, okay.
That I've propped.
Oh, okay.
The screws obviously didn't fit into the joist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they probably don't align quite the way they should do. I'll deal with that. And when I get up there, I can stick a knife blade out the side to make sure they're in the right place for the ceiling joist to fix into. Cool. It shall be done. But I tell you, this is pretty good. This room will make it'll be a guest bedroom, but also give us somewhere to store the sort of soft goods, the bedding and the stuff when we're not here. It's the driest room. It's the driest room in the property, and so it's going to be a very, very useful addition to make it as clean as well as being dry and secure. That'll be rather lovely.
And another load of gravel is delivered. Turns out, bit of a cock-up, because Type 1 in England is bigger than Type 2, but here apparently it's smaller. We should have had Type 4, and unfortunately you won't change it, so we're just going to have to live with it, and we'll know for next time. What a learning curve, eh?
Quick recap on the gravel situation. So having done a bit more research and thought it all through, what's behind me there is what's known here in Portugal as Type 1 Brita. And I was looking for what we would in England call type 1 aggregate, which is the sort of mixed stuff that you put a sub base to be able to then lay underneath your gravel. So yeah, lack of research on my part, bit of a mistake, but there you go. So that is washed gravel, which is actually slightly smaller. Type 1 is about 1/2 inch pieces. Type 2 is sort of 1 inch pieces, and we've got type 2 on the rest of the driveway already. The type 1 is not going to go to waste. I'll need it, and I'll spread it over as a top finish on the stuff we've already done on type 2. It is a little bit in the way though, so I'm going to have to spend, again out of schedule, but there you go, I spend a little bit of time moving that out of the way from, that's where the sub base, which in Portugal is known as tuvenon, but I'm going to move that gravel out of the way so the sub base can go down. So until then, I've got a little bit of unscheduled lifting and moving. I've got some stuff down here, which is the stuff that Jane took off the walls in the stone walls in the main house. That is nice mixed, not unlike tuvenon, not unlike type 1 aggregate, but there you go. That's going to go down, and I've got to move some of these. That pile there is the type 2, the sort of 1 inch stuff. That pile there is the type 1, the 1/2 inch stuff. And I've got an old pile here of some type 2, but underneath that is a big puddle and some areas that have not had the base layer put down. So what I'm going to do is lay some base layer underneath here, get that where the puddle is, get that covered up. I can then spread the stuff that's here over on top of that. So what I'm hoping to do is to get to sort of that line there to be fully aggregate and gravel down, so that in future we can turn around the tree and we can get the delivery lorries in to put the tuvenon up that bit, ready for when we need to move the car up into the barn. More lifting ahead. Probably going to have to do a bit of weeding as well to get rid of the stuff that has grown up around the... There's a lot of... On the aggregate we put in there, the rubble we put in there, there was obviously a bit of soil. And so that has to be... That must have had some seeds or some basic vegetation in it, so that's going to have to get pulled up as well. Yeah, we'll get there.
I'm not even going to try and make a straight line at the top of the walls. It's all so wonky. I'll just paint where I can get to, see where it goes. Makes a difference though already. This is when we realised we should have put some sheeting down to catch the plaster and make it easier to scrape up. Next time maybe. And after all that, let's take a look at where we are. The storeroom, originally called the secret room because it was locked up without any keys when we bought the farm, has been transformed into a much cleaner space. There are still a few jobs to do, that crack for one, and the gaps to fill around the top corners. But I'm super pleased with how much it's changed. A lick of paint is a wonderful thing. Thanks for joining us again this week. Next time, we'll move on to the other outdoor priorities, with tons of gravel to move around and a long list of trees to cut while the weather's cooperating. Thanks once again from our little corner of Portugal. We'll look forward to seeing you again next week.